Who's going to be here, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so welcome everybody to the March meeting of the Union Township Planning Commission. The rest of town is either at the Green Spot or what's that other one? O'Kelly's or maybe Freddy's. But we're here doing the people's business. So we've had roll call, or we've had Pledge of Allegiance, so roll call please.
Quattrito.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Shingle.
Here.
Lapp.
Here.
Over.
Here.
Hayes.
Here.
Bicking.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Okay, thank you. And we have two new members, so welcome to Nathan and welcome to Robert. Glad to have you here. Next item, excuse me, you have your agenda. We have 4 new business items. Are there any corrections to, or additions to, or concerns with the agenda? If not, we can have a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
So, motion was by Shingles, second by Hayes to approve the agenda as prepared. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we have our agenda. Next item is the minutes from last month. We met on February 17th, 2026. Are there any corrections to the February minutes?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from last month.
Second.
Okay, so motion by Hayes, second by Lapp to approve the February minutes. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so minutes are approved. Now we move on to correspondence, board reports, presentations. First item, as always, is our report from the Board of Trustees, and we will turn to our representative there, Commissioner Olver.
Thank you, Chairman Squatrito. The big news is the 2 new appointments to the Planning Commission. Very pleased to welcome Nathan and Robert. And apologizing for the delay. We had a bit of an attendance challenge over a few weeks, and so they sat by and waited for the official appointment. But we appreciate their diligence and glad to have them on the commission. We have been looking at, over the last 2 weeks, water and wastewater financial projections and some issues around that, a study of utility financial solutions to see where we are in our fee schedules and how that compares. So that is ongoing. And then also the next step in securing some municipal bonds for some wastewater projects here in the township. And so you'll see more on that in public hearings coming down the pike in the next few weeks. Also approved 7 participation contracts between Union Township and the Road Commission, mostly for gravel and brine, just to keep the roads in good working order for the township as well. So next meeting is about a week away.
Any questions from commissioners for Commissioner Olver on trustees related matters? Okay, not all. Thank you for the report. So the next one is normally the updates from ZBA. Commissioner McDonald is no longer a commissioner, and I don't believe ZBA met in the last month. They had met not that long before that. So anything from ZBA to tell us? I don't think so, probably. Okay. So we'll go ahead and skip that. Next item, for those of new commissioners, every month we have a report in our packet, the Community and Economic Development Monthly Report, which, as I like to say, is an encyclopedic record of everything happening in the township. It's us, it's all the other boards, it's other items. And we give commissioners an opportunity to ask any questions that they might have on anything they might have seen in the report. So at this point, we'll pause for any questions from commissioners on the Community and Economic Development Monthly Report.
You know, I could say I saw Wina and the final site plans administratively approved. I saw the owner, I think, in here last week when I was here for the board of review. Is that currently moving forward then, the one we approved last year for the Leo's Coney Island and all that stuff? I see there hasn't been a lot of work on there.
They had a long delay between the preliminary site plan approval, your approval, and the final site plan. It's not a delay on our part. The final site plan finally was ready to be submitted. It was approved pretty quickly administratively. Everything was in good order. And they have submitted building plans, which are under review right now.
Did they give you an idea when they thought they'd actually break in?
I assume at this point it's spring.
All right, well, great.
I will say specifically, they have not shared when they will start. But my assumption is it's spring start.
Any other questions on the monthly report?
I just had a question about the same part. Big Chicken Restaurant, is that the name of the, or that is, it's just not named yet?
No, it's the original restaurant. I don't know for certain if it's still going to be this. They were talking at some point they may have had to change the second one. This is two restaurants on the same site with some retail office space in between. And the second restaurant originally, maybe continuing, was Shack's Big Chicken. Shack is in the basketball
Yes,
court.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Questioning whether it was a descriptive phrase, like all chicken
Right,
there
I
would
didn't
be
know if
big.
it was just, if it was Shack's or if it was just a big chicken restaurant. They didn't want to give you a name. Okay.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. Any other reports or correspondence that you're aware of? I'm not aware of any. Okay, so we'll assume not, so we'll move on. We have a couple of public comments at this meeting. We have one at the front end of the meeting, which is for non-agenda items. We also, of course, have at least one public hearing tonight, but this is public comment on items that are not on tonight's agenda. If there's any member of the public who'd like to address the Planning Commission on any item that's not on tonight's agenda, you're invited to do so at this time. If you're in the room, come to the podium, give us your name and address for the minutes. If you're online, make your presence known, and we will recognize you to speak. So the public comment on non-agenda items is open at 7:08. And seeing no moves to the podium, we'll assume people are here for other purposes. Do we have anybody in the room?
And we do, but nobody is raising their hand, so.
Okay, so we have audience, but they're not signaling that they wish to speak.
Correct.
So we'll assume they're here, also here for other purposes. So we'll go ahead and close this public comment at 7:09. We have an extended public comment towards the end of the meeting. So we're ready to move on to new business. We have 4 business items tonight. The first one, this being March, is our annual election of officers. Officers of the Planning Commission serve 1-year terms. We have 4 officers, plus we also have the vacant representative to the zoning board of appeals. So we have chair, vice chair, secretary, and vice secretary. The chair obviously does this job. Vice chair serves in the absence of the chair. Secretary is responsible for keeping track of motions, keeping track of conditions for site plans and other actions, things of that nature. And the vice secretary acts in the absence of the secretary. And the zoning board of appeals representative attends zoning board meetings, which come up periodically as needed throughout the year, and serves as a member of that body as well. So we usually take them from the top, and so I will go ahead and open nominations for chair. I could comment and say, since we have 2 new members, that chair and vice chair are taken care of. Does that sound right? 2 new members? Okay, no, we won't do that. So, are there any nominations for chair?
I'd like to nominate Chairman Squattrito for the chair.
Second.
Okay, all right.
Jump right in.
Not jump into the power.
You do a really good job.
Get that void power.
All right. So the motion was by Brown, and it was seconded by Bicking. Okay. Are there any other nominations for chair?
And that is how one remains chair.
I'm looking back and forth. I'm just, looking back and forth. They say you're supposed to ask 3 times. Are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, then I'll ask for it's official action. I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Culver,
Support?
Lapp,
Support.
Hayes,
Support.
Squattrito,
Abstain.
Brown,
Support.
Shingles,
Support.
Thompson,
Support.
Bicking.
Support.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the vote of confidence. We'll continue to manage the gavel with due respect. So next one is vice chair. Vice chair, once again, would serve as chair in the absence of the chair. Are there any nominations for vice chair?
Does the vice chair sit in the chair's chair during the meeting, or can he or she keep his or her own chair?
I don't know. I don't think there's any requirement that the chair has to sit in this spot.
I think the gavel is movable.
The gavel,
glued to your
the gavel
space,
can be
you know.
picked up and moved.
CIT.
I mean, there is.
Move the camera.
I mean, the camera's adjustable.
Yeah.
I don't know that there'd be any reason that that person couldn't.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Stan Shingles for the vice chair position.
Seconded.
I'm going to have to respectfully decline.
Oh, all right.
Busy man. Oh, we're gonna talk.
I nominate Commissioner Hayes.
I'll second that.
All right.
It's a very
I've
formal
got a pretty
process,
good
as you
attendance
can see,
record. I
too.
think I've only missed 1 in 2 years, so I feel like I could be there to step in if you
Okay.
want. But you've got a great attendance record too, so that doesn't make me feel like I'd be too put on.
No, I don't miss too many meetings. I cut it.
Undefeated.
I cut it close in January.
Yeah.
But
We were all in a panic.
well,
But you were here.
are there any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, so the motion was by Shingles, and it was seconded by who?
Me.
By Lapp, to nominate Hayes for vice chair of the planning commission. Roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Support.
Lapp,
Support.
Squattrito,
Support.
Brown,
Support.
Culver,
Support?
Shingles,
Support.
Hayes,
Abstain.
Bicking.
Support.
Okay.
Thank you, I
Congratulations.
appreciate it. Hope to do as good a job as you did, Stan, in that brief moment of time you
Easiest
had
job I've ever
before Phil came back in the door 2 minutes later.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance. So,
I promise to give the chair at least 5 minutes, maybe, if there's nobody waiting.
Next one is secretary. And you've heard the description of what the secretary does. Is there are there nominations for secretary of the planning commission?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Lapp for the position of secretary for the planning commission.
Support.
Do you
I accept.
Okay. So there was a nomination by Hayes, I believe it was seconded by Olver, is that right? To nominate Commissioner Lapp as the secretary. Any other nominations for secretary? Any other nominations for secretary? Okay.
Picking,
Support.
Hayes,
Support.
Brown,
Support.
Shingles,
Support.
Lapp,
Abstain.
Over,
Support.
Squattrito,
Support.
Thompson.
Support.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
And then we do need a vice secretary. It, could happen that the secretary isn't here, in which case the vice secretary would fulfill those duties at that meeting. Once again, keeping track of motions, keeping track of conditions that might apply to site plans and other things that we're considering, things of that nature. You do sign the minutes. Do you also sign the site plan? You sign the site plans, or?
No.
Okay. Are there any nominations for vice secretary?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Brown.
Support. You're welcome. That's an accept.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure there.
Okay. So we had a motion by Lapp, and it was again seconded by Olver, is that right? To nominate Commissioner Brown as the vice secretary. Are there any other nominations for vice chair?
Vice secretary.
Yeah, vice secretary, sorry. Are there any other nominations for vice
I've already
secretary?
been out.
Okay, if not, then we'll do the vote.
Squattrito,
Support.
Brown,
Abstain.
Shingles,
Support.
Lapp,
Support.
Over,
Support.
Hayes,
Support.
Picking,
Support.
Thompson.
Support.
Okay, this is working extremely well so far. And then the last one is the is our representative to the Zoning Board of Appeals. So this person does attend ZBA meetings when they occur. By my memory, in the last year, maybe two.
Generally, it's been about 2 weeks. And they are scheduled for the first Wednesday of most months, not every month, but most months. But as I said, only one or two have been held a year over the last few years.
Okay. Also 7 p.m. or?
7 p.m.
Okay.
May I just note that Commissioner Bradshaw is not here today.
Yes. And so,
He's in Texas on business, so
Yes.
I'll hold him to it.
yeah.
That sounded like a nomination.
I feel like as the board representative, I shouldn't nominate, but
Can you nominate in absentia?
mm,
Okay.
I think that's a little cruel. I think you have to allow people the ability to refuse if they need to.
That's why I was asking.
Oh.
Well, and even you probably would want to confirm that the person is
Yeah.
available on Wednesdays at 7.
Sure.
We do not have a Board of Appeals meeting scheduled until, the earliest one is actually June at this point.
Okay.
So we have time if you prefer to wait.
Okay. Well, I'll make the call, but if there aren't any nominations for tonight, we'll put it on next month's agenda. But are there any nominations for Planning Commission representative on the Zoning Board of Appeals?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Thompson. He's joining us from the Mount Pleasant School Board. He's been a representative in public before, and I'm sure he'd do a great job representing us on that board as well.
Seconded.
I'll accept.
Okay.
well,
So there was a motion by Hayes, it was seconded by Brown to nominate Commissioner Thompson as the Planning Commission's representative on the Zoning Board of Appeals. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, roll call, please.
Vicky,
Support.
Hayes,
Support.
Brown,
Support.
Shingles,
Support.
Lapp,
Support.
Bolger,
Support.
Squattrito,
Support.
Thompson.
Abstain.
Okay, excellent. Thank you all for your service and support, and we've completed that process. So we're ready to move on to the second new business item, which is a special use permit application from, and I have to admit, I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, either Biella, B capital, LLC, for an open air business use for the outdoor sales and displays around the new Ace Hardware store, which is basically at the corner of Isabella and Pickard. And so we will have introduction by staff, we will hear from the applicant, we will hold a public hearing, and we will have commission review and deliberation and action.
Well, thank you. Everybody should have a copy of our report dated March the 6th. This, as you said, this is associated with the New Ace Hardware store that's going in on that corner, former Pleasant Party Rental store. I'm sure you've seen the activity over there. We did go through a minor site plan process for the change in use for the interior for the store. That was approved previously, that allowed them to get started with the work that you see going on right now. At the time, the applicant made the decision to wait on the special use permit for outdoor, the open air business activity, outdoor sales and display area. And so that's now what you have before you. The reason this is coming to you as a special use permit, the question may come up, I'll answer it. The former Mount Pleasant Party Rental store had outdoor storage, outdoor sales activities on the site. But as we went back and looked at our records, we could find no record of a past special use permit for that. So that activity may have simply long predated our zoning ordinance requirement for that special use permit. It's been around a long time, but that activity also has been around a long time on that site. So we asked the applicant to go through this process to get a new special use permit for the open air business. They also, their activity is going to be, they're going to be more active for outdoor sales and outdoor displays. And if you've been to Ace Hardware, you know they have substantial outdoor activities going on. And so that was the other reason, just simply treat this as a new special use permit and have a new plan approved associated with it. So you have our report. This is a legal non-conforming site. The process needs a special use permit approval from the Planning Commission, but actually the site plan side is a minor site plan. So the site plan side is actually approval by the zoning administrator. You have the site plan, it's one sheet before you that shows the outdoor sales and display areas. It shows the layout of the site, where things are going to be. But ultimately, the site plan action will be an administrative action after any approval of the special use permit on your part. So that's just how the process will move forward. You see on the plan, you see some of the different types of materials or products you're going to be selling on the site. Just in general, we would, I will say, first of all, the standards for special use permit approval are in our report. In the table, they're in the black boxes at the table. We found that the proposal fully complies with the standards for special use permit approval. We have some comments in there about that. We did note that this site right now is 3 separate parcels of land that we've asked them to combine into one new tax parcel for purposes of this new special use permit. The reason for that is primarily to eliminate the interior setbacks. If they kept them separate parcels, we would have to enforce the setback requirements from each parcel boundary, which would not make efficient use of the land. The applicants are proposing to keep the fence that goes around the property now. And so you see that on the plan, they note that. You'll note that there's a new propane tank going in. They have propane tank filling sales on the site. There was a propane tank site, a corn oil site, that was in the front of the building, out by the road, about by the intersection. The new one, as you see on the plans, will be up to the north end of the property and further back from the road. And that does comply with our ordinance. So with that in mind, we're very happy to recommend this project to you. As you've seen our report, we recommended approval with two conditions. One is that land combination, that simply be done before the activity started in the property, the outdoor activity. And the second one is just to note the zoning administrator approval of the minor site plan, again, before outdoor activity started on the site. So with that in mind, we're happy to answer questions as we go along.
Okay. Are there any immediate questions for Rodney?
Rodney, there's no change to the ingress or egress of those properties?
No, they're not proposing any change to the driveways.
I didn't bring my glasses with me, so.
They're also not proposing, as part of your packet, you have a letter from My Michigan Health, and they made comments about the fence and asking that it remain in place. They're not proposing any changes to that.
Thank you.
Rodney, as part of that, as part of this request, would it be noted that the fence will remain? Because that appears what Mid-Michigan, they just wanted it just clearly stated.
It's on the plan.
It is on, okay.
It is on.
Okay, yep, I saw it on the plan, but okay, gotcha.
How would that work if there's a special use permit for the use, and if the store changes owners, and they don't want the fence?
Or changes its mind?
Could they take the fence down?
So the open air business activity, that special use permit would run with the land, so it would be available to any future user. If they wanted to take the fence down, because that's part of that approved special use permit, it's part of the plan. They would have to essentially come in and amend, either request to rescind the special use permit or amend it to allow that fence to be removed.
They'd have to come back to the planning commission.
They would have to come back to you, yes.
All right. Any other questions while he's up there?
I guess to stick on that point, if it wasn't maintained, say there was damage done or something like that, what are the steps then to ensure that it's continually enforced? I mean, is that something where it's handled between the two of them, or they're going to be coming to us to then in turn enforce, half the fence goes down in a windstorm or?
Yeah. Well, what I would say, number one, certainly if this is a concern for you, you absolutely can add a condition that simply notes that the maintaining the screening fence in the style that currently is, it must be maintained as part of the special use permit. That's a condition that requires that, would only add to that protection. As I said, it is on the plan, but it also does not hurt at all if you would like to make that a condition, that the fence be maintained. What I will say is that an approved site plan becomes a part of our zoning ordinance for enforcement purposes. So if the fence was damaged and not repaired, our zoning administrator could cite it as an ordinance violation.
And be coming up in the same ordinance as we see
Exactly.
every month.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rodney, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. So normally at this time, we give the applicant an opportunity to address the planning commission and just give us any opening remarks, anything you'd like to say before we move to the public hearing.
Sure. So hi, my name is Daniel Bazell, and I am a part owner of both Bela B and Ace Hardware of Mount Pleasant. I've never been through a process like this before, so I thought that I would share a few things with you. If I become too long-winded, I don't care how you choose to play me off, give me any kind of speed it up, whatever, more than happy to shorten things up. But I thought I'd start off by sharing a little bit about what makes Ace Hardware as a national corporation a little different from other franchises, a little bit about our organization, how we plan to be involved here in town, and then also a little bit about our outdoor use. So first, Ace Hardware, one of the biggest things that people don't realize, yes, we are a franchise organization, but Ace Hardware is a co-op. So what that means is, yes, there is a big national corporation, but in order to own any shares of that, you have to be one of the individual store owners. And that gives us, as store owners, a lot of autonomy over top of our business, down to what products we want to sell. There was even a point in time where you could own an Ace Hardware and not have Ace on the outside of the business. You could be Homestead Hardware or Auburn or Owen City Hardware. So in a lot of ways, the corporation kind of works for us. I've got a district manager, but they're almost like a customer service rep. How are shipments coming in? Are things looking good? How can they help me to run my business more efficiently? And so as a result of that national corporation runs very lean and mean, and the end goal is hopefully more of the money stays in the local community, which kind of leads into what our organization looks like. So we currently own the Ace Hardware over in Midland. About 4 years ago, we bought one in an area called Canadian Lakes over near Remus. And so for the last 4 years, I've been driving through Mount Pleasant thinking to myself, man, this sure looks like a great spot to have an Ace Hardware. We've been involved in that Midland store for over 60 years. It's been in the family. I married into it. I've only been involved for a little over a decade. But if you're curious about who we are as an organization, probably the best thing you could do is hit the Midland Daily News articles about us. We're featured in there pretty regularly. We're very involved in the community, whether that's Little League sponsorships or silent auction items for nonprofits. We try to be very, very involved in the community. In fact, I think I probably will see some of you at Daybreak on Thursday. We'll see. I'm not sure if you guys are involved with the chamber or not, but we'll be there, and just starting to try and get things. So I'm not moving to Mount Pleasant as a part of this. We have a general manager that is moving to Mount Pleasant, and we'll probably try and do a little bit more enabling her to be that person in the spotlight in the community, but you guys will probably see me as well involved. So for outdoor use, the sort of stuff you see on there is really pretty typical. If you drive past Tractor Supply at all, it's going to be a lot of the same look and feel, right? We sell mulch, we sell soil, we sell softener, salt, sand, all that sort of stuff, and so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you're selling pallets and pallets of that to try and cram all that inside. So a lot of that's going to be sitting outside. We also do a lot of business with grills, so there'll be a small area towards the front of the store where you see some rotation of outdoor living, grills, Adirondack chairs, things like that may be out on display. Rodney mentioned the propane. The only other thing that's on there that is a little bit nebulous at this point is we have an area marked for where we could possibly put up a temporary greenhouse for live goods. That's something we do at our Canadian Lake store. We don't do it at our Midland store. We don't really have immediate plans to set up a greenhouse. We don't have a supplier lined up or anything like that. So we included it there, but it's my understanding that whenever we decide what that greenhouse would actually look like, that's got to go before the building commission anyways to get approval for us to set anything up. But that just gives you a little bit of an idea of who we are. I guess the other thing I wanted to mention is staff-wise, we're looking at bringing on somewhere between 12 and 18 staff, depending on what that mix of full-time and part-time is. So happy to be a part of the community here, happy to be bringing some jobs. And with that, what questions do you have for me?
Questions for Mr. Bazell?
I do have a question. For your number one, your palletized bagged goods, I noticed that you say like water softener, salts, and ice melt, and I know that salt and soil don't typically mix that well, and with it being outdoor, I am a little concerned of how are you going to protect the underlying turf from inclement weather, bags that get ripped or torn, things of that nature.
So they are in waterproof bags. So the product that's bagged itself would be well protected. Torn bags. So in addition to the bags themselves, the pallets come wrapped in saran wrap, and it's pretty heavily wrapped. It's actually can be a problem with the amount of garbage that you end up generating with some of that stuff. But and so that would help protect if there are tears in the bags. Usually the first thing we do is we try to take those bags out and tape them back up as best we can. Also weigh them to make sure that there's not a dramatic difference in the weight. Usually you're selling 40 or 50 pound bags of that stuff. And so if there's a loss of material, then we've got to discount those as well because we can't sell those at full price to somebody. So I would say usually the bags are repaired with packing tape, but the bags themselves are waterproof, and then the pallets are also wrapped to add an additional layer of protection.
Thank you.
Other questions for the applicant?
I have a few. So the first one, Daniel, you talked about how involved you are in the other communities. Have you thought about any particular ways that you plan on getting involved in Mount Pleasant?
We're still trying to research exactly what that looks like. You know, we figured we would start off by jumping into the Chamber of Commerce and getting involved there, and hopefully organically we start to identify more ways. I mean, so I heard mentioning that you're on the school board.
I was.
Okay.
Sore subject.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You know, we're always looking to sponsor youth sports teams. At our Canadian Lake store, we're actually very involved with the local elementary school over there. We donate bikes every year. We've done some different roundup things at the register for them to be able to get additional equipment at the school. So I mean, we really try to say yes to everyone that walks through our door and has an ask. Sometimes it's no, we can't do that much, but we could do something less. And some of that will also just depend on what sales look like at the business. If we're not profitable, it's hard to say yes.
Sure. Okay, that was my first one. I got two more. Okay, so my second one, do you do any partnering with schools for co-ops for high school students? Is that something you've done in the other two communities?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
okay.
We've had a long history of co-ops at the Midland store. I don't know that we've had any opportunities to over at our Canadian Lakes location, but yeah, we would welcome it. We enjoy it.
Okay. My third one has to do with the greenhouse. So I have I like to do greenhouse stuff. So in your other stores, do you have greenhouses?
We do at the Canadian Lakes store. We don't at Midland.
Okay, so at the Canadian Lakes, do you use local gardeners in the greenhouse, or?
Oh, that is such a wonderful question, and I'm not the one that goes and gets the plants.
Okay.
It is not a national supplier.
Okay,
I can tell you that.
That's all I need to know.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They're from the state of Michigan. How far they are away from that store, I couldn't tell you. I think it's about a 30 to 45-minute drive that they do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Those are all my questions.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from commissioners?
I got one just to ask you directly. John brought it up. So if the fence gets broken, will you commit to repairing it?
100%. I love the fence. I think it looks great, and it does a great job of screening the property. So yeah, I have no problem with that being any sort of additional condition if that made you guys feel more comfortable.
Okay. We do have the public hearing, and normally we have our own deliberation after that, so there'll be more opportunity to ask questions after we do the public hearing. So why don't we go ahead and move to that? Thank you. So all special use permits come with a public hearing. It's announced in the newspaper, in the Morning Sun, and it's also the proximate property owners are notified by mail. So I assume all that's been done. We want to give everyone who wants to speak an opportunity to speak. So once we open the public hearing, if someone is in the room who'd like to speak, again, come to the podium, give us your name and address for the minutes, address your comments to the Planning Commission, and limit at least your initial comments to 3 minutes. If there's anybody who is in the online who wants to address us as part of the public hearing, just probably hit your raise hand button or make your presence and your desire to speak known, and we will recognize you and have you speak. So the public hearing on special use permit application 26-01, it's open at 7:38. We did receive the letter from My Michigan Health, and it's in the packet. I forget exactly how we've done this in the past. Is it appropriate for y'all to read it or summarize it or not? I mean, it's available to people, so in its printed form.
It certainly should be acknowledged in the minutes. If you would like to read it or summarize it, that's appropriate, but you also can simply note that you received that correspondence.
Okay, we'll let the minutes note that a letter was received from My Michigan Health, 4851 East Pickard Street, specifically referencing this public hearing. And the main points were to maintain the fence, around the perimeter of the property. They feel that it serves as a nice delineation between properties and has a certain visual appeal. And then also they say that they would like to see the current ingress and egress patterns remain unchanged in relation to Isabella and Pickard Road. So, no one is rushing the podium in the room. Did anyone who's listening online give any indication that they wanted to speak?
No.
Okay. So we'll give a couple more calls. Any comments in the public hearing on the special use permit application? Final call for comments in the public hearing. Minutes will reflect the written communication received. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:40, noting that no oral comments were offered during this process. So now, next item is commission review of the application and then commission deliberation and action. With special use permits, it is completely up to us to approve them or not approve them. So that is our ultimate action on this. So it's on the floor. It's open for discussion, questions from commissioners.
I guess I just want to echo Commissioner Hayes's comments about the fence and adding it as a condition. I know that that Rodney indicated that the minor site plan becomes part of the ordinance, but having it just plainly stated as well within the motion, I think would just help to make sure it's crystal clear that that's something that I think everybody is on board with. So that's all my comment.
Okay.
Best thing I heard out of the presentation was 18 full-time jobs coming to. I'm not saying you can I
12 to 18.
12 to 18. Well, I want to hear
Full
18.
and part-time.
I want to hear 18. Can I ask you a question on that? So you guys are in Canada Lakes. You guys are out in Midland. I know you're new to Mount Pleasant or our region here, but I think a lot of people ought to know is how high our poverty rate is, how hard it is for us, for like a lot of people in town to get by. What's your starting rate out in Midland?
It varies a lot depending on level of experience. If we've got someone that comes in that has worked in a hardware store before and we've had people come in who've worked at an Ace Hardware specifically in another state and come in and they might make, with that level of knowledge, they might make somewhere in the ballpark of $16 to $18 an hour. Starting rate, if we've got to train them on everything, is more in that range of like $14 to $15 an hour, and then as they become key holders or managers,
Does that rate vary from location to location based on income, or is that something that you set across the board? Like will people applying here be looking at a lower rate because of our economic standing compared to like would it be Midland or Six Lakes, which I know. If you go out to Boston, the minimum rate to like work in Dunkin' Donuts is like $25.
Oh, wow.
You know, because of level of you know how much it costs for rent and stuff like that. But I was wondering, like, would you be willing to commit to like maintaining the level, I guess, of pay that people would see in other communities here, because that could help raise.
Yeah, so that's consistent across the board. That I honestly had not even considered that. Maybe I could or should offer less to someone here.
Forget I said anything.
I will say, as I've gone through interviews with folks, we've already started hiring some people, and I've mentioned some of those same things. The folks here have obviously been a lot more receptive to almost whatever wage I've thrown out there compared to what I've seen in some other communities. People just really seem to want jobs, and so that's been, I don't know, in some ways refreshing for me because it's easier to find some applicants. But
It's refreshing to hear that you haven't thought about having to pay them less either. So I'll take that as a good, as a big gold star.
okay.
Thank you.
Oh, I have another question while you're up there. So what Commissioner Hayes made me think of this. What's the age limit that you can hire someone? So could high school students be part-time?
Oh, yeah.
In the
So
store?
the youngest that we've really ever hired is 14. We've hired some to be cashiers. There's a lot of limitations on what they can and can't do.
Oh, yes,
So
yes.
when they're under the age of 18, there's a lot of stuff that they can't do. And so folks who are under the age of 18, we do pay less because we can pay them, I think it's 80% of minimum wage. So usually, if we're bringing in someone as a high school co-op or someone that's younger, they're starting out at that lower level. And then it just depends. I've got a guy that still works for me in Midland that started as a co-op who's been fantastic. And so really quickly, we're like, okay, you can at least get minimum wage. And now he's above that, so.
But you do hire individuals that are under 18, because
Yeah.
speaking from personal family experience, it's hard to get under 18-year-olds hired some places.
And
Because
we-
I understand the restrictions, but you're open to it.
Right, yeah. and
Okay.
Obviously, I can't, if I've got 18 jobs, I can't have 9 of them all
Yes, for sure.
under that age. But, it's not uncommon for us to, it's not uncommon for us in the Midland store to have as many as 4. I think in the Canadian Lake store, we might have 3 right now, that are under the age of 18, so.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? I just wanted to, you don't have to come back to the podium, but the Midland store, is that the one that's the hardware store that's right downtown?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I thought so, but I didn't remember. Okay, so, we're at a certain point, we can have a motion, but I don't want to cut off discussion if people have more questions or anything that they want to give voice to.
The only thing I would speak up about is it's to me it's a kind of a no-brainer when Rodney said combine all the parcels into one, so we don't have to differentiate anything out. It also makes it easier on the tax assessor, makes it easier for them so they don't have 3 different bills. So definitely want to see that.
Just trying to think how to word the condition of the fence that's consistent with the rest of the motion. If anybody wants to pipe up about that.
I already drafted one.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Go.
The
Hold it out.
The screening fence must be maintained as part of the approved site plan and special use permit. Rodney, is that an acceptable way to phrase that? Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I don't want to steal your thunder if you wanted to read it.
Oh,
Did you want to make the motion?
sure. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that so
Sure.
I could write it down? I'm sorry.
The screening fence must be maintained as part of the approved site plan and special use permit.
What about Mid-Michigan's concern about the current ingress and egress? They asked that, those patterns remain unchanged. So I don't think we addressed that as one of the concerns as well.
So that is also shown on the site plan. It would
Yep,
become
I
part
see
of the
that,
site
yeah.
plan. So any change to that would have to come back for some kind of approval.
Let me restate that.
Yeah.
We're addressing the concerns that they have related to the fence.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we address as well the concerns they have about the traffic pattern?
This is what I would suggest, because we're really talking about the open air business. My suggestion, there are egress points through the fence onto the private drive that is connected with the Mine Michigan Health Facility. My suggestion is to limit any condition to maintaining those locations, rather than addressing the locations on the public roads, which are really a road commission approval. The road commission decides where those are.
Okay.
So if you are going to have a condition, limit it to the egress points out through the screening fence.
And their proposal doesn't have any changes.
There are no changes, and frankly, the site plan as it is will really address this.
Address that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I motion to approve with conditions the PSUP 26-01 special use permit application for an open air business for outdoor sales on approximately 2.77 acres of land on the northwest corner of East Pickard Road, M20, and South Isabella Road intersection in the southeast 1/4 of section and in the B5 Highway Business Zoning District, finding that it can comply with section 14.3.j standards for special use approval, subject to the following conditions. Approval of a land combination application by the Township Assessor to merge the 3 existing parcels PID 14-011-40-023-00 -025-01 and -025-02 into one new tax parcel is required before the open air business activity can be established on the subject land. 2, approval by the zoning administrator of the associated minor site plan for this project is required before the open air business activity can be established on the subject land. And 3, that the current screening fence must be maintained as part of the site plan and special use permit.
Second.
Okay, so the motion was made by Brown with a second by Lapp to approve the special use permit with the 3 stated conditions. Discussion. Can I just ask, in all the motions, when it says in the southeast 1/4 of section, is it supposed to be section something or other, or the section? It's weird to me.
Yeah, that is actually a typo. That is section 11.
Okay.
So it's the southeast quarter of section 11.
All right, very good.
We're going to have a friendly amendment to that.
Well, I think that's an editorial change.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Commissioner Shingles, are you satisfied with Rodney's suggestion that the egress and ingress is addressed already by the
Yeah, I
approvals?
better understand
Okay.
it now. It was just, we didn't talk about it, so I thought if we were addressing one, we need to at least talk about it. So, yeah, but I understand it better.
Okay. Any other discussion on the main motion? Okay, if not, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Vicky,
Approve, or support.
Hayes,
Support.
Brown,
Support.
Shingles,
Support.
Lapp,
Support.
Olver,
Support.
Squattrito,
Now that we're
Thompson.
doing it, support.
Thompson,
Used to be yes, now it's support.
Support.
Aye.
I think whoever leads the charge sets it.
Yeah. Stand firm.
Yeah.
Wow, oh my gosh.
You did great. Thanks for bringing business to the community.
Okay, so that motion passed, so the special use permit is approved, and we wish the business all the success. And we're ready to move on to our next business item, which is a rezoning application, which is also going to be a public hearing, but rezone application 26-02. The applicants are Ron and Denise Maury to rezone 7.77 acres of land north of East River Road at Maury Drive in the southeast. Are they always in the southeast quarter? I mean, it just seems like, of section 3, from R2A to Ag. So we'll follow the same protocol. We'll hear from Rodney first, then we can hear from the applicant, and we will proceed.
Thank you. Everybody should have a copy of our rezoning report dated March the 10th. So this application from Ron and Denise Maury is a proposal to essentially downzone some land. Land is currently zoned for 1 and 2 family residential, downzone that to agricultural. This area is noted in our report is on the edge of, it's on the border really between the area that's intended to be developed and area of the township that's intended to remain rural. You kind of see that in the master plan, where in fact, this property, if you look at page 40, our packet, we have a logo of that element of the master plan. You see that the front portion of the parcel is planned for residential. The back portion, the bulk of it, is planned for rural preservation. The rural preservation category is a category is land that's intended to remain rural beyond the time frame of the master plan, the 10 to 20 or so years time frame of the master plan. That we're not intending that to be anything other than a rural character, of a rural character. The rural buffer, the darker green, is an area that is intended to be rural, but may in the future, that plan may change, essentially. That's the difference between those two categories in the master plan. This area, this lot is also right at the end of a sewer pipe. There's a sewer pipe that essentially, this is my public services director won't appreciate when I say coming from the west, or coming from the east, because that's not how sewer flows. But anyway, the sewer pipe ends right at near the east boundary of this area, and it flows to the east from there to our treatment plant. There are 3 duplex lots. You see the 3 small lots on the drawings. Those are 3 duplexes. Those are hooked up to that sewer line, but essentially there's not really any ability to extend that sewer line further. So we're right on the edge of this area that was intended to be developed in a urban manner. You can see from on page 40 of our packet, you see a blow-up of the zoning map as well, the lower graphic. That right now the entire lot is zoned for that R2A, that 1 and 2 family residential. The reason this is coming before you is the applicant has a building on this 7 acres. It's I'm going to call it an accessory structure. They would call it their business. They have a home occupation there. That's how it's treated. This is a sign shop. They've done some great work. If you go and look at our township trucks, you'll see their work on our trucks. It's a small sign shop. It's operated. The building is about 1,700 square feet, and it was approved back in 2009 as a home occupation. It was granted by this planning commission, not this planning commission, but the planning commission. It was granted a home occupation permit, which was the process at the time to operate there. And it continues to operate there. The applicant has wanted to add a lean-to addition to that would be for private household storage. It would not be part of the business. It would be simply for storage of lawn and garden equipment, those kind of household items. The challenge is that the size that's allowed for an accessory structure in our zoning varies based on the zoning district. So the R2A district has a smaller maximum size allowed. The agricultural district or the R1 district, either one, allows a larger accessory structure. And so that is primarily the reason why we're here tonight, is that by changing the zoning, it would allow them to build that lean-to that right now would have required a variance. They did, in fact, apply to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance, and after a substantial discussion, that variance was denied. And so they're moving down this rezoning route, which is a completely appropriate action to take. And it's one action that staff had recommended as an appropriate process for this. As you look in the report, with the comments that we have are starting on page 41, are all from section 14.5 of the ordinance, which is the amendment section. And there's a subsection there just called findings of fact required. And essentially what this section does is it more or less asks some questions. It asks you as a planning commission to think about some various topics or questions as you're looking at a rezoning. Say number one, evaluation of existing and proposed zoning districts, and there's some sub-comments on those. Current demand, availability of public services, consistency with the master plan, and then some additional factors that primarily look at were there other errors in the ordinance, errors on the map that might warrant a change. We have comments in there. We're happy to answer questions about those. Overall, from our perspective, we're very happy to bring this forward to you. We found that, from our perspective, that the proposed change to ag is consistent with the master plan and with the surrounding area that's planned for rural preservation. That the planned land uses are consistent with the master plan as well, and as I said, they're not proposing to make an alteration to the size of the home occupation. This addition, I know the addition's not part of this application, but just give some relevance that the activity they're proposing is consistent with our ordinance, that storage for residential household activity. So with that in mind, we're happy to recommend this for your action tonight. You are, in this case, a recommending body to the Board of Trustees. Rezoning of change to the official zoning map is a legislative action. So your action is to recommend to the Board of Trustees what you believe they should do, and then ultimately that your action would come to them, but it would also, under the State Zoning Act, go to the county. The County Planning Commission has a role to play in this, just review and comment for 30 days before it goes to the board. So that's where this will go. But ultimately, it will end up on the Board of Trustees agenda with your recommendation. So with that, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Questions for Rodney while he's up there?
I got a question just about the lot assignment, and maybe you got, are you guys the applicant over there? You're kind of my neighbor, so I recognize you a little bit. Do you guys live in the 30-126? Is that you? Do you guys live in that adjacent lot that's like next to it, the housing? Cause I hear it's a home application or it's a home business, but I don't see a home on it. So I didn't sure if that was just like, yeah.
So you have several Mortys in this area. Ron and Denise Morty live in one of the duplexes. That's one of the 3 small lots. Their son lives in the larger single-family home that's on the west side. So it's a combination.
And then the center lot, that's the one that we're rezoning now, is used not as housing, but just like as a home business for the sign shop on there.
So this gets back to that 2009 decision. In 2009, things looked just like this. Their home is in the same place on a separate lot, and the matter started out essentially as an ordinance enforcement matter under a previous zoning administrator. And it was ultimately resolved that the solution was to bring it to the Planning Commission and ask for it to be considered as a home occupation permit. And essentially, the Planning Commission at the time determined that although the Morty's home was on a separate lot, that essentially it treated it as one zoning lot for purposes of approval. And nothing has changed from that, nothing's proposed to change. So that remains a valid action, and so the activity there is completely in compliance with the ordinance.
Yeah, great. I mean, in general, it seems like a smart idea to do here. Everything seems to be in support of it from what we've got from you and from all those lines. I guess that was just a personal question of like home occupation, but no home. Okay, now I understand. Thank you.
Good question.
And why the handle is my one question. At the it's like there's a road there. Like, why is that handle part of the ag zoning change?
So this is a private drive, and there is a right-of-way, an easement associated with that for the three duplex units there. I will say that if it was done today, if it came in for a private road approval today, we would have them call that road out separately. It would no longer be part of that larger parcel. It would be a separate right-of-way reserved, set aside. But at that time, that was a completely appropriate way to do it. So what, that little handle there is, although it is proposed to be rezoned, it does not alter anything with regards to the road or access or anything. It just simply exists with an easement over it to allow the road to go through it.
Okay.
So then, who's responsible for maintaining the road? The trust?
Yeah,
Okay.
the users of any private road is required to be maintained by the users of the road. This one, as I said, an existing road. Today, if it was done, we would have a maintenance agreement that would actually be recorded on each parcel. I don't know what exists with this road, but even in the absence of any maintenance agreement, the folks that use the road are required to maintain it.
Okay, thank you.
I will note, actually, just to kind of expand on that, we do have a private road ordinance. It was recently adopted. You as a plan commission reviewed it and made recommendations to the board on it. As part of that new ordinance, there's some very basic health and safety standards for existing roads. Essentially ensure that emergency vehicles can get down. This more drive, this little private drive fully meets those, exceeds those requirements.
Okay, thank you. So now normally we give the applicant an opportunity to address the planning commission or at least stand for questions. If there's anything you'd like to say.
Place to put the lawnmower.
Okay.
I got a look that I'm guessing you're the one that has to shovel out the road to maintain it, because when you talked about who's maintaining, I saw the look in your face, like, oh, it's me.
Okay. I guess I'd like to ask, the bulk of that land, I think it said somewhere that it is leased for agricultural use. Is that the long-term plan to continue to do that?
Yes. Yes.
I think they said in the application they plan on handing it down to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
son afterwards, yeah.
All right, well, because it's a rezone, it has a public hearing, so we want to go ahead and conduct the public hearing. Once again, in the newspaper, relevant property owners were notified. We want to give everyone who wants to speak on the rezone request an opportunity to do so. I would also point out that the public hearing is really for the public to comment on this. The applicant has their own opportunity to address the planning commission, so we're looking for comments from the public. If there's anyone in the room who is in that situation and would like to speak on this, they're welcome to come to the podium, give us your name and address for the minutes, and limit your comments to, at least your initial comments, to 3 minutes, and address them to the planning commission. If there's anybody in the online room who would like to address the planning commission on the rezone request, make your desire known, and we will set it up so that you can speak. So the public hearing on rezone request, get the right number here, 26-02 is open at 8:07. It's
Tim
actually
Beebe.
Tim.
Yeah, it's Tim.
Okay. I always listen for the parking lot, screeching tires, doors opening. Second call for public comments on the public hearing. Comments at the public hearing. I assume there was no written correspondence on this one? Okay. And last call for comments at the public hearing on the rezone request. Okay, so let the record show that no public comments were offered, and we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 8:09. And so once again, commission is reviewing the application We do need to, on this, we want to make sure we have findings of fact, so that should be part of our deliberations, and then our action, which as Rodney noted, is some form of recommendation to the Board of Trustees.
Rodney, can I ask you a question about the proposed list of findings that you included on a sample motion? You did not include the limitations with the sewer, and I'm wondering why. It seems like that's a fairly substantial finding to support the rationale for changing the zoning.
I agree with you. Actually, that would be a good addition.
Okay.
I have a question for the applicants, because I drive through this area pretty regularly. So I'm to assume that that the housing immediately around the Morey Drive is mostly family owned. What about the adjoining properties, like these properties on like Windstone Drive? Are they also like associated with you guys at all? No. Friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better than enemies.
Enemy lines,
Yeah.
So as Rodney mentioned, the kind of narrative summary of the findings of fact starts on page 41 of the packet, goes through page 43. They are summarized in potential motion on page 45. So really, at this point, if any commissioners either disagree with, or as Commissioner Lapp did, if you think there's anything that was omitted that maybe should be included, now would be the time to bring it up. I mean, I think it's pretty fortuitous that we got something that's consistent with the master plan, consistent with the future land use map, and gives a little bit of rural preservation. Usually things are, at least lately, are running in the opposite direction, so it seems like
a lot of master plan boxes, you know, all the things that we
yeah. So, and I didn't find anything in the summary here that I don't agree with in terms of the statements of fact. It all makes sense to me. Anybody else?
No additional concerns, and I'm hoping Commissioner Lapp has the language for us.
Yeah, I think she does.
Any comments before I start a motion? I move to recommend the Township Board of Trustees that PREZ 26-02 requested rezoning of approximately 7.7 acres of land, PID 14-1003-30-001-2025, north of East River Road at Morey Drive in the southeast quarter of Section 3, from R2A 1 and 2 family low-density residential district to the AG agricultural zoning district be adopted based on the following findings and conclusions. Number 1, the proposed rezoning to the agricultural district is consistent with the master plan's future land use designation of the subject lot and surrounding land for rural preservation, and the allowable uses in the ag district are compatible with the goals, objectives, and policies of the master plan for this area of the township. 2, the proposed rezoning is compatible with the boundaries, size, and arrangement of the existing and proposed zoning districts in the surrounding area. 3, the proposed rezoning would reduce an encroachment of suburban-scale residential zoning into an area of the township that is intended to remain rural in character. 4, the proposed rezoning would not result in any unlawful exclusionary zoning or impact the continued use of the existing 948 square foot accessory building for a legal non-conforming home occupation sign shop, provided that the use is maintained in a manner consistent with the original home occupation permit approval. And
If I
5,
may, before you read number 5, if I could have you just correct that, it should have been 1,728 square feet. That's fine. That's-
okay, so it's not 948?
Yes, it's 1,728.
Okay,
2 lawnmowers.
you got that? Okay. And 5, the proposed rezoning would avoid potential future development that would strain the capacity of public utilities as the land sits at the extreme end of the public sewer system.
I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion was made by Lapp, was seconded by Bicking. Is there further discussion by commissioners? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Older,
Yes.
Lapp,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Quattrito,
Yes.
Brown,
Abstain?
Shingles,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Bicking.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. So that is a recommendation to the Board of Trustees, so that will be its next stop. Good luck with that.
Everybody can breathe easier again.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's what it said. So- Over none.
Yeah, right up.
Okay, so we have one more regular business item. And that is Township staff has kindly prepared our annual report. So starting on page 46 of your packet is a summary of our 2025. We met every month except December. We didn't meet in December due to lack of agenda items. We met every other month. And so it lists all the actions that we took and the things that were able to be administratively approved and our other business items. So it's a very nice summary of what we did. Goes to Township Board, elsewhere in the packet, public can view it and see it. So typically we approve it, and that officially sends it forward. So, or adopt it, I guess is the right word. But are there any questions or concerns with the annual report?
I just wanted to, on the first page, number 8, there isn't a listing whether it was approved or not approved on this one, but there is, it's mentioned later that it got a final approval, so I don't know if there needs to be something added to number 8.
That is definitely an oversight. We can add, if it was approved, we can add that into the report.
Okay, very good. Good catch.
Kudos on the attention to detail.
I also want to note I very much appreciated this. I don't mean to, but it was very nice. It's nice to see.
The annual report doesn't reflect who the planning commission members are. It does mention, unless I missed it somewhere, it does mention former Commissioner McDonald as the liaison from the planning commission to the ZBA. But we obviously voted for that position as well as the other officers. So it probably just needs to be reflected so that the record shows who was on the commission when this happened, when these actions were taken.
Yeah, I actually like that idea. I mean, a way of, somewhere in the document, listing the membership of the planning commission, and if it changed at all, if someone served less than a year, indicate their term of service, or if they joined during the year. I think that would be a good addition.
Case in point, trustee Olver now. Moved up. I took his spot.
Yeah. Well, you had.
That's the 26.
You'll be on the next report.
There you go. Next
Yeah.
report.
26.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the annual report? So we had a couple of, one correction, couple of suggestions. So I believe a motion to adopt the Planning Commission's annual report would be in order.
So moved?
Second.
Okay, so the motion was by Lapp, seconded by Hayes to adopt our annual report with the minor amendments or modifications. Any further discussion? If not, I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor of adopting the annual report, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we've adopted our annual report. So we've completed our business items. We do have two more quick housekeeping sorts of things. We have an extended public comment towards the end of the meeting where individuals are invited to address the planning commission on any item, whether it's on tonight's agenda or not. If you want to do so, either come to the podium, give us your name and address for the minutes, or if you're online, make your presence known and we will set you up to speak. So extended public comment is open at 8:22. Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close that back up at 8:23. And then we always have a section in here, final board comment. Any comments from commissioners?
I'd like to welcome our two new members in and thank them for getting involved and jumping in and bringing up good points throughout their first time.
And a congratulations to our newly elected officers, even noting that not a single one of you voted for yourself. So,
I'll take that as a compliment, right? Boards where people don't recuse themselves for votes are
That's
the
right.
ones you need.
That's right.
No, it's just because we have no confidence or something.
I think you'll all be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for the warm welcome, and I really appreciated being able to get everything early and read through it, so thank you.
Plenty of time to read. Plenty of stuff to read.
Yeah, the previous system, I could never open the PDFs. It would always give me an error message. So I really appreciate the new computer system or your new web setup because it consistently things open easily. for me to find things.
I'm glad, I'm sorry you had a problem before. I wish.
Well, I always got the paper packet, so it didn't really matter. So.
And to thank you for bringing your business to Union Township.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, it's great to have that particular spot too. Having a business there again is great. It's a good location.
I meant to ask, will you have balloons? That's where we used to get them.
Already hitting with a hard one. Oh.
Ace has a program for it, and I've thought about it pretty hard. We don't have it set up for when we open, but we might.
There's still hope.
Yeah.
All right, great.
You may get some people who come and ask you about
Yeah.
that.
Dollar store.
And now Party City's part of Staples.
So if there are no further comments from commissioners, we'll thank everyone. Now you're free to go to the green spot or the establishment of your choice. And so we will adjourn at 8:25. See everybody in April.
Very good.